Let's try that again, shall we? Sorry about that. That was a minor technical issue, and by that I mean the microphone level wasn't turned up, so that's why nobody could hear me, but you can now, so that's all good. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. How is everybody? If you're there, give yourself a shout out so I know that you're there. Excuse me, just a minor hiccup. Whoa, that works. We literally had a minor hiccup, and I literally had a minor hiccup in my mouth. Who have we got? We've got John. John says, I am back. Welcome back. Chip is here. And we have Nicolas says, also, it seems that the Twitch stream is a bit faster than the YouTube one. Yeah, I don't know quite how that works. I think there's a bit of a lag on the YouTube one. Not quite sure why. Don't think it really matters. I mean, do you want to watch the same stream? I mean, by all means, the more the more streams you watch, the better that is for me. But no. How is everyone? How am I doing? To answer that question, I'm doing okay. You know, I'm doing all right. I'm getting on with stuff. You know how it is. Let's move on to some news. News. The news is there really isn't any news from last week. I'll be honest. We're working away at some Halloween content. So the next update should come out before Halloween. So that literally gives us less than a month. So hopefully we can get that out as quickly as possible. I think that's about it. I don't really want to give too much away for what that content's going to look like, but I'm very excited. I think it's going to be very fun. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. In terms of the console update, that's again still work in progress. We're edging ever closer to getting the next console update out. So yeah, what's your take your eyes, keep your eyes peeled. That's what I'm trying to say. Keep your eyes peeled for more details on that when it's available. But again, not much really to report on that. It's been a very slow week. I'll be honest, it's been a pretty slow week. Matt, show us the engine block. What engine block? I don't think we've talked. Have I talked about an engine block before? If I have, it's not coming to my mind. Are you thinking of maybe? Is it? Wait, hang on. Maybe I'm looking back to last week's stream, Chip. Was it on a list of blocks that you shouldn't have seen? In which case, I probably can't show. There's probably nothing to show. So yeah, I don't really know what more to say about that, I'm afraid. Super duper duper. Let me see. Have I got? No, okay, I haven't got any of the mods installed. That's good. So I know no one can see what I can see. The Space Junkers engine thing that we had a glimpse from the dev spawn console. Yeah. That dev spawn console, that could be anything. Honestly, I wouldn't look too much into that, to be honest. That could be a working title. It could be there's literally. I'm not being purposefully obfuscative, but I genuinely there's nothing to show. So yeah, let's move on. Cool. Blockle, yes, John. Let's do Blockle. Let's do that. So today's stream. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing in today's stream. We're going to do another tier list because the last tier list went so well. I thought we'd do another one. But this is going to be slightly different from the last time. So for those that don't know or haven't seen these tier list streams before, basically the last one we did was with weapons, and I'd go through each corporation in TerraTech. I'd go through all of their weapons. I would rank each corporation's weapon against themselves, and then when we had a list of A-list or S-tier weapons for each corporation, I would then rank them against each other, which gave us the ultimate weapons tier list in TerraTech. Today we're going to be looking at accessories, so all the accessory types in TerraTech. So I'm not going to do what I did with the previous tier list, where we went through all of the weapons individually. I've kind of bulked the types of accessories together, and we're going to rank how each accessory ranks against other accessories. It will all become clear in a moment, but first, shall we do some Blockle? So let's jump into the game. 1 second. I just need to change something here. Let's do Blockle. No, that's not Blockle, is it? Don't do that. Let me get rid of this. Nope, don't get rid of that. Let me re-add that. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Where is this even coming from? Ah, there it is. Right, let's get rid of that. I've lost my border though. Right, you can see Blockle. That's good. Let me add an image. Let me add... Oh, sorry, 1 second, everybody. Just, again, a minor technical thing. Talk amongst yourselves. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Okay, let's go back here. 1 sec. Then we're going to come back here. I know I'm doing this all on the fly, but... oh, go away. Let's get rid of that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Right, we're getting there. We are getting there. You need to be down here. There we go. Right, we're back. Sorry about that. Right, we're in the game. We are in the game. So, let's play some Blockle. Again, if you've not seen us do this before, I will recap the rules and the game very quickly. So, Blockle works by you giving me a random block. And no, let me start that again. I have randomly selected a block. The block is currently behind the Blockle game board. And it is your job, it is chat, I'm talking to chat, it is chat's job to guess the random block that I have randomly assigned. So you have 7 lives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lives. That's a lot. And I will tell you if you get the corporation correct, the grade correct, the rarity correct, the category correct, and the damageable type of that block correct. Yeah, John, go first, please. Give me a block name. So all will become clear once we start getting some guesses in. So let me bring up the Blockpedia. So you can use the Blockpedia to cross-reference. Now, granted, someone made a point that the damageable type isn't in the Blockpedia at the minute. I don't know. I say at the minute, like we might add it in the future. I don't know if we've got any plans to add the damageable type to the Blockpedia, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, so we have the first guess from John, which is the Hawkeye Z4 explosive bolt. So let's find it in the inventory. Weapon. Oh no, it's not a weapon. It's an accessory, isn't it? Here he is, the Z4 explosive bolt. So the Hawkeye Z4 explosive bolt. The corporation is incorrect. It is not a Hawkeye block. The grade of the explosive bolt is a grade 3. It is not a grade 3 block, so that is incorrect. The rarity of the block is uncommon. It is an uncommon block. Let me check. It is an uncommon block. So we have the rarity. Grey means it's uncommon, if you didn't realize that. The category is a weapon. It is no, it's an accessory block. Let me check. It is not an accessory block. The block that I have is not an accessory, so let's take that off. And the damageable type, which is this type here, as you can see, is volatile. It is a volatile damage type, so I'm going to pop that there so we know that the damageable type is volatile. So, because you got the guess wrong, you're going to lose a life. But we know it's an uncommon, damageable type that could be any of these corporations, and we know it's not an accessory. So we have another guess from Urzal. The Venture Speedometer. Chip says, is it a space chunker's engine? Stop talking about the engine block. Venture Speedometer. No, as I said, it's not an accessory. It is not an accessory block. The category of accessory blocks is incorrect. So, all right, I won't take that as the first guess. Any other guesses before we move on? Sorry, I realize this is quite difficult because I'm talking to chat and Twitch chat at the same time. And I realize people may not be across both of those channels. So I'll try and be better at clarifying where the guesses are coming from. Any other guess? Just give me a random guess. You've got 6 lives left. You've got enough lives that you can just throw a random block out there and we can have a go. GSO small battery cell. Let's go with that. So GSO small battery cell. GSO, it's a battery, so it's going to be under power. The GSO small battery cell, it is a GSO block. The one I have is not a GSO. So we are saying, oh, let me reset. Hang on one sec. Reset. It is not GSO. So that is an incorrect guess. The grade, it is a grade 1. It is not a grade 1 block. So we know that it is, if it's not grade 3 and it's not grade 1, wait, that's weird. If it's not grade 3 and it's not grade 1, that leaves that grade. If anyone can see my fingers, that's the grade that it is. So bear that in mind. We know that it's uncommon, so we don't need to worry about this, although you have got the uncommonness right. The category, it is not a power block. It is not a power block. But you've got the volatile. So look, so you've got uncommon. I like where this is going. This was a good guess, Tetros. This was a very, very good guess. You got uncommon, you got volatile, and you guessed that the grade, you sort of narrowed it down, which is good, but still incorrect. So let's lose a life. And I'll reset. And I'll wait for another guess. Hey Matt, what's with the Space Junkers battery nerf? It kind of ruined the block. Yeah, we've heard about that, Chip. I think, did you tag me about this on Discord? I think this kind of blew up a little bit on our Discord server. And rest assured, that's some news actually that I can share with everybody. Taku is our designer. He's looking into it. I'm not quite sure why the decision was made to make those changes. It kind of went under the radar. It was a bit of a shadow nerf. So yeah, apologies if that kind of came out of nowhere for everybody. But if you bear with us, we're going to look at getting that balanced more fairly. So yeah, watch this space. Uncommon grade 2 volatile weapon / flight. It's not a weapon block. We've already had a weapon block, Tetros. It is not a weapon block. Come on, give me a guess. This is taking too long. We're going to take 20 minutes just to do Blockle this, right? Anybody got any more guesses? Geocorp battery. Urzal going back in with the guess. Let's go with Urzal's Geocorp battery. So it's going to be Geocorp, which is... oh, Skibbity. Can I say Skibbity? Is that a slur? Am I allowed? Am I too old to say that? The Geocorp battery pack. Let's take a look at this. So it is not a slur. Phew. So the Geocorp battery pack. It is Geocorp. The block I'm looking for is not Geocorp, so that is incorrect. The grade is grade 3. It is not a grade 3 block, so that is also incorrect. The category is also a power block. It is not a power block. Feel like we may have wasted well, not wasted, because we know it's not Geocorp, which is good. So that has saved us something. People are saying it's not a slur, but it's an annoying word. I will refrain from using it all of the same, so I will no longer be saying that word that I said earlier. Oh, cool. John is saying the Venture battery. So, okay, never mind. Why are you suggesting batteries? It's not power. It's not a power block. It is not a power block. Any other guesses? Tetros coming in with the Space Drunkers fuel tank. Let's take a look. Where's the Space Drunkers fuel tank? Let me take a look. Oh, there. Is that? No. Okay. Fuel. Huh. Oh, hang on. There we go. Oh, there we go. The Space Junkers fuel tank. Let's take a look. So, are we looking for a Space Junkers block? Yes, we are looking for a Space Junkers block. Congratulations. It is a Space Junkers block. We have determined that it is a Space Junkers block. Let me reset. Reset. It is Space Junkers. Let me find it again. It was in flight blocks, wasn't it? Here it is. The grade is grade 2. Let me do grade 2. I forgot that we added that. Grade 2. So Roman numerals for number 2. Get it? Number 2. The rarity. We know the rarity is an uncommon block, and the category is a flight block. So that is correct as well. So let me put that there so we know that that's what that is. So the question is, knowing that we know all of this, we have the corporation, we have the grade, we have the rarity, we have the category, and we have the damageable type. Is it the Space Junkers fuel tank? Oh. I hope nobody saw that. It's not the Space Junkers fuel tank. So no, it's not. But I think you probably get it from the next guess. I didn't realize these had the same, literally the same stuff. They are identical. That's embarrassing. Any other guesses for what for what today's Blockle answer might be? Well, why are you spinning? Blockle, what are you doing, man? Why is Blockle spinning? Oh, I see. I figured out why that's spinning. Space Junkers battery. No, it's it. It's not a Space Junkers battery. We know it's not a power block. It's literally right here. It's a flight block. It's not a power block. I think I showed it by accident. Should we just give it away? Oh, you've pretty much got there. Tetros is crying in chat. I think it's a Space Junkers battery. I'll take that as a guess, but you're going to lose a life. It's not the Space Junkers battery because it's not a power block. It's a flight block. Space Junkers turbo booster. Finally, the Space Junkers turbo booster. Yeah, it is that. Well done. There it is. Oh, it's still going. Why is it still going? Is it because it's attached to circuits and systems? Yes, that would be why, won't it? Yeah, it's this. There we go. So I told you it would be here. Space Junkers turbo booster. Yeah, that's on me for kind of ruining that one a little bit. Chip says, I'm a genius. Chip, you are a genius. In your own special way, you are a genius. Well done. You're all welcome. Thank you for gracing us with your geniusness. John's stream is coming in late. Man, hurry up. Just press refresh or fast forward it. Enough. That worked, right? All right, let's reload the R&D labs. Well done, everybody. We did Blockle. We beat Blockle. Woohoo! You guys are so good. So let's get back to what we were... It only took us half an hour, 20 minutes. That's good timing. Let's get the tier list out. The good old TerraTech tier list. Here it is. So, let me bring up the list of types of accessories that we're going to be using. Where am I? Where am I? I'm here. This is what I need. Let's download it and let's open it. Beautiful. So I have a list of types of accessory blocks here. And I'm going to talk through them all in more detail. So everyone's clear on exactly what the parameters of this tier list are going to be. So there are effectively, let me count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's about 15. I know I counted 17, but again, there will be more detail on that. There are 15 types of accessory block, okay? And then within some of those categories or types, there are sort of subtypes or subcategories. So, for example, lights. That is a type of, you can see here, there's a GSO headlight blinker headlight, there's a lantern, there's the light panel. There's different types of light, right? I won't break that down because we know lights just do one thing. They come on at night. They provide some use, I guess. But again, this is what we're going to rank. How useful are lights in TerraTech? Do they actually provide you with much use, much utility at night? Are they actually any good? Something to think about. There are radar blocks, but within the radar, there's a subsection of radar blocks. There's resource radars as well. So we'll keep those separate for now. So as you can see, there's the GSO radar. There's obviously a venture radar. There's the Geocorp resource radar. Matt, I feel like this is kind of hard to rank. Well, we'll see. You also got block magnets. So how useful are block magnets in the game? You have gauges, all different types of gauges. You have resource collectors, a signal marker. Where's the signal marker? Where is it? There it is. No, that's the flatbed collector. There it is, a signal marker. You have signal markers, you have gauges, you have gyros or gyroscopes, you have explosive bolts. Altimeter, I'll class that as a gauge. You have payload terminals. Ignore all these are just modded blocks. What other ones? There's the magnet switch, which is quite a unique block. Now here's a block that I genuinely didn't know existed. Genuinely had no idea this block existed. The laser targeting block. I'm not sure if this is R&D only. I think it's just a block that is in the game. This completely, literally went under my radar. So that's another light block. More gyroscopes. Then we come into Better Future that have got some quite niche accessory blocks. So amongst their kind of gyroscopes, they've also got switch blocks. So there's the block controller switch, the hover power controller block, and the anchor controller block, as well as more altimeters and the stabilizing computer. I'm not going to worry about the stabilizing computer too much because I feel like that's more of a bit of a niche thing. Hello. Oh man, I nearly had a guest. I don't know who it was. It was too dark. I couldn't see who was at the door, and they ran away. Anyway, and also I've bundled circuits and systems all into one category of blocks or of accessories. And also, we're not going to be doing the R&D type blocks. All these, they're just a bit too experimental. They don't really work as well as we want, so I won't be ranking those. I might do the fastener block. Am I on an older version of the game? I thought we'd changed the fastener block. Maybe not. And also, all the cosmetic blocks, they literally add nothing to the game in terms of functionality, so we won't be looking at those. Cool. I hope that has cleared up. So let's just get into some, ranking some blocks, and we can get an idea of how good accessories are. So when we're ranking these against each other, okay? We're ranking these these are accessories, right? The point of an accessory is to have utility, to be useful, to add some sort of functionality to your tech, and that's kind of the metric for what we're going for. So with that in mind, let's kick things off with lights. I'm going to use, what's the most iconic light in TerraTech? Probably the blinker headlight. I think most people are most common with the blinker headlight. How useful are lights in TerraTech? Give me a rank. Is it A tier? Is it B tier? Is it useless? Do we think that lights don't do anything? I mean, they do something, but they're not like the most useful thing in the game, I don't think. I think I've been playing at night and I've been like, do I need lights? Probably. I need one or two. Maybe they are quite useful. I'll put them as A tier. How do you feel about A tier? Chat, let me know what you think. Actually, no, I don't want to use that block. I'm going to use the Storm Lantern block. Because why not? Nicholas saying trash tier. Let's bring it down to trash tier. Does anyone have any more advances on trash tier? John is saying C tier. It's not necessary, but it helps. Fine. So let's just recap what the tier list is. So top tier is S tier, is like highest high tier. Then the next one is A, B, C, and D. So D being trash tier, D being I don't even need. I can go the whole game without using it. S tier being this block is essential to any tech, to any game, to any mode that I play. People aren't giving it a lot of love. Lights aren't getting a lot of love. So let's keep it as C tier. I don't think it's quite D tier. I do think it adds something. I've had moments where I've been like, oh, I need to see something. I'll just slap a light on. And Nicholas saying it does have, you can break it down it does offer some utility, and it adds, if you break it down using a scrapper, it does give you materials. That is a valid point. But I think more broadly, don't just think specifically about what each block does. Think about the actual functionality of lights and lighting in TerraTech. I think C tier feels fine. C tier feels good. So next on my list of blocks is the radar. I think this is A tier. I think you kind of need the radar pretty early on. I know you get it in the tutorial, and then obviously you get different types of radar. You get ones that add a map to your tech and scan the area. There's loads of different types of stuff, but generally the radar is a pretty good block, I think. How do we feel about the radar? I think most run-throughs I will need a radar, and therefore it's not, I wouldn't say it's essential. Like I can't, it's not that I can I get soft blocked if I don't have one. John is saying S tier. Who else agrees with John? People are agreeing. Let's chuck it in S tier. I like it. So far we've started off with Duff tier and S tier. Instant S tier, especially the Space Junker. Let's take a look at the Space Junker's radar. To be fair, the Space Junker's radar looks sick. An armored radar with advanced auto-mapping capabilities which ensures survival in the wastelands for daring scavengers. Did you know you could zoom in on the mini-map? You can't see my mini-map. I'm zooming in but you can't actually see because my head is in the way. Okay, fine. S tier. I think S tier. Generally, radars are seen as S tier. I'm going to use the Space Junker's radar as the icon for this because it's pretty iconic. We like the Space Junker's radar. It's very good. Nice. So bear in mind, we're not ranking each block. We're ranking the type of block. So we're talking about the radars in general. This might get too complicated, so we may have to scrap this idea, but I'm going to go with it. Block magnets. Let's talk about block magnets. I think the most iconic block magnet that I can think of is the Geocorp one. These, for me, actually that's too big. I can't think of a time where I thought, a block magnet will sort me right out. So for that fact, I'm going to put block magnets in C tier. I don't think block magnets add that much to my gameplay. How do we feel about block magnets, chat? Let me know. I'm going to have a sip of Pepsi with my pinky out because I'm classy. I've just realised this is going to make me burp. So if I burp down the mic, I do apologise. Tetros is saying B tier. They can produce goofy effects and make some unforgettable armoring. Oh, I'm sorry. Unforgettable. Unexpectable armoring. That is a good point. I think that's one of the kind of nice little key, quirky features of block magnets. So if you don't know what Tetros is talking about, what you can do if you're very clever with your placement of block magnets, if you're in a battle and blocks are falling off your tech and the other player's tech, if you have a block magnet at the front of your tech, the block magnet's going to pick up all of the loose blocks, and as you can see here, it's going to hold on to them and effectively use those blocks, the loose blocks, as armor. It's quite a nifty little hack that I've seen happen a few times. It's really quite funny. So yeah, it's basically free armor, and it's also eco-friendly because you're recycling used blocks. So double thumbs up. Block magnets, I think, yeah, B tier. But the point of that is, yeah, that's quite a niche feature. But the definition there is niche, right? That's quite a. How often are you actually going to be able to do that? Probably not that much. So I think B tier feels right. I think they're okay. They're fine. Lovely. Right, moving on to resource collectors. I think these are essential. Resource collectors in TerraTech are essential. Literally, how else would you collect? I mean, you could manually drag and drop each item into your silos, each resource thing into your silos, but that would take you days. Especially if you're mining that much, yeah. Block collectors have to be essential, right? They have to be S tier. You can't play without them. Nicholas is saying block magnet for me is B tier. Free scraps when salvage, and also help me with movable collection techs. Also have the speeds to storage units. Fine. I think we're happy with B tier. Collectors in S. Geocorp and Hawkeye collectors S tier, rest are A tier. So on average, I think S tier feels about right. Resource collectors are S tier. Good. I'm glad that we're on the same page, everybody. It's not too. John's saying it's not too necessary. You have other things that can collect. That. Am I forgetting a thing that can collect? Maybe you're right. Either way, resource collectors, I think, make the. Pardon me. I told you I'd burp down the mic. Resource collectors are almost essential. So S tier. Fine. Good. Oh, hang on. I've missed one. Resource radars. Let's take a look at the resource radar. Here's a hot take. I don't think the resource radar is essential. I think it is incredibly useful, but I think you can play the game without one. For that, and so for that reason, I'm putting it in A tier. I realise the resource radar is a bit different. It's a bit different from the normal radar. I think it has different functionality. So what do we think? C? I've used it a few times. Okay. C's quite low. C would be quite low. People are saying use. Okay, maybe I'll put it down to C tier then. Okay, fine. People are saying that the resource radar is not that useful. Interesting. Different radars do different things. Yeah, so I've talked about this chip. I think the resource radar is the only one that does something demonstrably different from the other radars. The other radars just generally give you a view of the area. Resource radars add a little bit more functionality to your tech, so that's why I've sort of kept them separate. Chip makes a really good point. Chip makes a very good point. If you know what resources spawn in what biome, it's not that useful. So you're talking as an experienced gamer, an experienced. You're talking as an experienced prospector. That's my prospector impression. Feel free to clip that and add that all over the internet. Yeah, you're talking as an experienced prospector that has been around these parts long enough to know what resources grow where. I feel like for newer players, it would be a lot more useful. But still, I appreciate it. But it's also quite a late game. Is it quite a late game block? Okay, it's grade 2, so you get it kind of mid-game, early to mid-game. It's grade 2 Geocorp. Quite early. Cool. All right, I'll leave it as C tier. I was maybe a bit ambitious at A tier then. Lovely. Right, moving on. Gauges. How do we feel about gauges? Let me find the most iconic gauge. The power gauge. I'm going to say gauges aren't actually that useful in TerraTech. Just for the fact that most batteries, in a pinch, I'll show you. Most batteries, I think most or all batteries have got a power gauge on them anyway. So if you can see this battery is empty, this gauge is empty here. People are saying S tier. I am not on it today. To be honest, B tier. Okay, people are saying S tier. Nicholas is saying B tier. Should we split the difference and go in the middle and go A tier? I don't think... I'm going to maybe pull my weight here and say I don't think gauges are S tier. Hey, look, John, this is why I need community input. This is why I need you guys. John has made a very good point. He says, no, Matt, you don't do PvP. You don't want to expose batteries in PvP. It's not just PvP, to be fair. That is such a good point. So I made the bold statement that you wouldn't necessarily need a gauge because you can see on your battery there is a gauge on here. So if at a glance, I could just glance at my tech and I could see that my battery is running low, and I can know to charge it up, or how close they are to being emptied. More importantly. But John has made a very good point that if you're a well-made tech will hide the batteries inside the tech, for the reason that batteries are volatile. Are they explodable? What are batteries? They're volatile, so the battery will explode if it dies, if it runs out of health, and that can cause catastrophic issues. So if you have it on the outside of your tech, it's going to cause loads of damage when it inevitably explodes, because that's going to be the first thing that gets attacked. So you hide your batteries inside your tech. And if you're doing that, you're obviously not going to be able to see the power gauge or the power level of your battery. And that's why the power gauge is S tier. I think that makes perfect sense. I'm happy with that. Chat, if we're happy with that, we can move on. Beautiful. Right, moving on. So, gauges. Hang on. I'm talking specifically about the power gauge. Maybe I need to talk more generally about gauges in general. Yeah, I need to talk more generally about gauges. So, we know the power gauge is useful. I guess the same would apply to fuel gauges as well. Yeah, Nicholas says, again, I've just spat all over the microphone. There's a tip. There's even a tip in the game saying your battery shouldn't be exposed, so you wouldn't see the bar anyways. I didn't realize there was a tip in game that said that. Is it on the tooltip? This block will add power to gauge your HUD, which will display how much energy. Okay, fine. That would have been embarrassing if it was in the literal block description on there. Oh, you don't need power gauge is not that essential. Fine. Alright, fine. I think we'll put gauges in S tier just for the fact that the power gauge is actually quite useful across the board. Beautiful. Moving on. Signal marker. Honestly, chat, how much do we use the signal marker? The signal marker is, I'll give you a demonstration. The signal marker is a block that you can anchor to the ground, right click, edit marker, and you can add, let's make a flag. Let's make a green flag. And it's going to project a green flag on the top of the block. But also, in my map, it adds a waypoint. So I can see that on my map, and that will extend very, very far. So I can basically use my signal marker block. I can even change the name of the block, of the marker, to green flag, and save that. So for example, if I find a pretty decent resource node, like a load of resource nodes, and I want to remember where that spot is, I can drop a marker block, say what color it is, or say what it is, and then I'll be able to see it on my map, and I can come back to that marker at a later date with more mining equipment, things like that. So how do we feel about the signal marker? I think that adds a lot of utility. Have you ever actually used it? Let me know. I'm going to say A tier, just because I like it. Okay, Chip is saying very useful for making old mission locations to use as core bases. That's one of the primary uses of it. John is saying D tier. Who uses it? In the newer versions, you can't even hide your little tingy on your little thingy on the map. Signal marker, not too useful for me since bases that are far don't work, so I just move to my new base and my new spots from time to time, or stick around a makeshift base. Chip says, I like it, it does its job. John is saying C. Again, I'm well off the base here. I'm going to go B tier, only because I think I want it to be higher ranked than it is. Cool. Signal marker, there you go. Fine, let's go C. Fine, everyone's saying C tier. That seemed like a reasonable. Fine, C tier. It's in C tier. We've done it. Okay, so the next type of accessory block that we're going to look at is gyroscopes. Gyroscopes for me, in whatever type of gyroscope they are, there are different types of gyroscope. I'll be honest, but they do a similar job of. Well, let's read what a gyroscope does. Let's read the job description. Let's read the description of the active all-axis gyro. This gyro is active, meaning it will apply torque to force your tech back to an upright position. So, an active gyro will try and right your tech and keep it upright. A passive gyro will keep your tech in that position. It won't apply force to keep you upright. It will apply force to keep you where you are. We all know gyroscopes at S tier. They have come in clutch for me so many times. If I've been building techs, planes, helicopters, hovercraft, and I'm going to say a bad word, but if I can't be arsed trying to balance a tech with thrust and all that stuff, just chuck a gyroscope on there and it's going to work out fine. Gyroscopes solve so many problems for me in TerraTech. It's almost too good. I feel like there should be more. You should be punished more for building rubbish techs. But no, gyroscopes, I think we're all in agreement. Yeah, gyroscopes, big S tier. Explosive bolts are the next type of block that I have. I think we can all agree, explosive bolts, S tier. Are they S tier? I know when we're building multi-techs, explosive bolts are pretty essential. But generally, have you ever been building in campaign and thought, do you know what I really need now? I need something that can just explode off my tech. Do you really build like multi-techs while you're in campaign? I know people play PvP a lot. Are they useful in PvP? Let me know. Someone in chat is saying B tier. I might drag it down to B tier. I may have been bigging it up too soon and putting it in S tier. Let me know what we think, chat. If not, it's going to stay in B tier. How useful are explosive bolts in TerraTech? Not just the Geocorp ones, but any explosive bolts. How useful are they? Let me know. Ingus just says no. Just no. Ingus, come on, give me something constructive. Give me something to go on. If not, we'll move on to the next topic, which I know straight off the bat this is S tier. The next type of accessory is payload terminals. S tier payload terminals. As soon as you unlock them, it just makes the whole game. You're on easy mode. As soon as you have your payload terminal set up, easy mode. Nicholas says F tier. No such thing as F tier in this tier list, but I know what you mean. They're useless and I don't deal with multi-techs. Maybe B tier isn't that fair. Maybe we need to go down to C tier. English saying don't build. I think just by the fact that nobody really builds multi-techs, I'm getting the impression that explosive bolts might not be that useful. Let's put them in D tier. Explosive bolts all the way down to D. This is how rubbish I am at this. I put explosive bolts in S tier at the start, and I've talked myself all the way down to D tier. Man, I'm rubbish at this game. Be it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, what was I talking about then? Oh, payload terminals. Let's talk about payload terminals. Payload terminals have to be S tier, right? How do we feel about payload terminals? Let me know in chat. I'm going to check my phone quickly, 1 second. Make sure everything's okay. If nobody has any objections to payload terminals being S tier, I'm going to move on. Chip says, explosive bolts are mainly useful for workshop creations. That's quite a niche use though, I think. You're not going to be using that every I guess to use my own analogy or my own example, you're not going to be using explosive bolts. They're not an essential part of your TerraTech gameplay experience, are they? You know, if you're loading up a new campaign, you're not going to be like, I need to get explosive bolts unlocked as quickly as I can because they do this, and this. Whereas things like, obviously, batteries, better weapons, they are essential in TerraTech. Chips saying, I don't really get the rankings. It's not like there's not an important use for such blocks. Yeah, but you're kind of ranking how important they are against each other. So, like, a radar, a resource collector, a gauge, a gyro, and a payload terminal are much more useful to your game, to your TerraTech experience, than, say, a block magnet or a light or an explosive bolt. I hope that clears things up. Right. All right. Payload. No one's really talking much about payload terminals, so I'm going to move on. There's only one block of this type, and that is the magnet switch. Who actually uses the magnet switch? Bearing in mind, we've put magnet blocks at B tier. Do you actually use the magnet? I'm assuming if you're using a magnet switch, you'll use the if you're using magnets, you'll need the magnet switch. So is it B tier as well, or do we go lower? It's not going to be more useful than a magnet block, is it? So maybe we'll go C tier, D tier. I'm going to go C tier. We've got 10 minutes left. Can I blitz through the rest of these categories? Let me see. Ingus is saying manufacturers can be better than payload terminals. Do you mean, yeah, the factory blocks, the block, what are they called? Fabricators. You're right, but we're not really ranking them against fabricators. We're ranking them against other accessory blocks. And being that payload terminals technically are an accessory, let's put them in there. Inga says because they're a lot cheaper. You're right. You are right. Manufacturing blocks is cheaper than buying them through the payload terminal. I still think, in relation to all the other... Actually, is it essential? Maybe it's not... All right, I'm dragging it down to A tier. We haven't got any A tiers. I'm dragging it down to A tier. I've talked myself out of it being S tier. Right, next up, laser targeting. How do we feel about laser targeting? Which is this block. This is trash tier. It doesn't do anything. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. The laser targeting block, I didn't even realize was in the game. I think I've probably played it. I've seen it on some community-made techs and assumed it was a mod. That's how obscure this block was to me. Does anybody else have any use for the laser targeting block? I'll put it straight into D tier. There's only one block of this type. And I don't think I've ever needed it. I've never had a use for this block, ever. Mainly because you can't... Aiming in TerraTech is... You can't aim. I think this is one of those blocks. It's so old. I think it's probably one of the first blocks that we put in. I don't know anything about this block. Genuinely, I'm making this bit up. But I think this feels like a block that was put in the game the very, 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 very early days of TerraTech, and we just kind of like forgot about it. Anyway, right, moving on. Block controller switch. This is the Better Future block controller switch. This is S tier. I don't care. I'm not going to care what anyone else says about this. The ability to turn off your healing bubbles, repair bubbles, shield bubbles, anti-grav, and hover blocks is phenomenal. It's S tier. I think you can't really argue with it, to be honest. If you try arguing, I'll just block you from chat. There you have it. Next up is the hover power controller block. This is C tier. I don't build enough. Who builds enough hover techs to actually make this useful? I guess if you do make hovers, they are very useful. Maybe I'll put it as A tier, B tier. So the hover power controller for me is B tier. The Better Future block controller switch is S tier. Let me know your thoughts in chat. Fabricators are cheaper than buying from Pellet. Yeah, sorry. I knew that's what you meant. If I didn't say that, if I didn't say that properly, apologies. I know that's what you meant. Good stuff. One more. I don't even think we need to put. No, I'm not going to include the stabilizing computer in this. That feels a bit too obscure. Anchor controller. Does anyone actually use the anchor controller block? I know it's good for circuits and systems. Again, that feels maybe it's a bit too obscure even for this. And then the final type of block is circuits and systems. And that's going to be S tier. Boom. So yeah, Nicholas says they make helis and planes instead of hovers. So therefore, the hover controller block probably won't be that useful. But I think it's still pretty mid. I think if you do make hovers, if you have not just if you make hovercraft, if you have hover blocks on your tech, I think they do have some use. Lovely stuff. I think that's everything. I'm pretty sure that's all of the stuff that I wanted to show today. So let's go into photo mode and look at our accessories block tier list. I hope that all makes sense. And I hope everybody enjoyed that. I did. That was good fun. That's pretty much the end of the stream. How long have we been streaming for? 55 minutes. I think we're going to leave it there, chat. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to showcase today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you keeping me company for the last hour. Tune in next week. I'm going to go back to my desk right now and I'm going to set up a thread on our Discord server for a community call for next week's live stream. So, yeah, it wasn't a quick stream. That was 56 minutes live stream. How very dare you? Right, let's create an invite to our server. So if you want to head over to our Discord server, head over. I've just shared a link in chat. We have a community call thread in our Discord server where if you check in about 10 minutes, I will have set up a new community call thread. And you can submit, and basically you can be able to submit text, and in next week's dev live stream I will showcase all of the texts in that thread, and I'll do my best not to murder them too much. So go do that in about 10 minutes. Go check out our Discord thread, our Discord server. Super duper duper. Right, there we go. I'm gonna leave it there. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you again so much for stopping by. And yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Boop, 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 boop.